There's a couple of different groups out in Washington right now that, in following along with those legislation and how they do things, I met up with a group called the Republican Study Group. It's a coalition of around 80 conservative think tank type legislators, and there you fit into that and you work in that coalition because they're under the same principle base you are. There's a Braveheart caucus out there, and that is something that is made up of some great legislators that will bring forth the legislation with you because they stand on the same foundation and principles that I do.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer.
Thanks, David. I think much of what's been said is accurate. You need to have relationships, form coalitions, find natural partnerships, if you will, and gravitate toward that and work within that system. But at the same time, when you go in as a freshman, one of 435, I think you have to bring with you a certain expertise, a certain amount of credibility from your recent past, perhaps, such as being a regulator overseeing the most dynamic energy economy in the world. Today I had the opportunity to participate in the ribbon cutting for a One Oak gas plant at Watford City, along with Senator Hoeven, Senator Conrad, and Governor Dalrymple. Later we did a ribbon cutting commissioning the Bridger pipeline, which is a pipeline that we've already sited and built and is already moving oil from McKenzie County to Baker, Montana, waiting to get on the Keystone XL pipeline. I've been told by many people, including a good conversation I had with Speaker Boehner on this very topic, there aren't very many members of Congress that even know pipelines go underground. They think they're all above ground. If you bring in some expertise, the credibility you've earned in the trenches, I think that you can start as a leader on day one.
I'm going to change gears a little bit and ask about the issue of illegal immigration. Do you think, A, there's a problem, and B, if you do, how do you fix it? Commissioner Kalk.
Thank you, Dave. First off, the terminology, illegal immigration. I mean, right there, it's wrong. You're here illegally. We need legal immigration. We need good workers, good intelligent people coming into our country. So one of the first things you have to do is to get the process of coming here legally more streamlined. Let someone get to a decision much more quickly. The problem of illegal immigration needs to be stopped. How do you stop it? I like the idea of a virtual fence. You use the drones that we have at Grand Forks Air Force Base. You can fly those above. You need to empower your Department of Homeland Security and the ICE. So I think there is a problem, but you also have to acknowledge there's a problem. Right now, both political parties are silent in this issue. Republicans have not shown leadership on it because they're trying to get a certain voting group, and so are the Democrats. So we need leadership out of D.C. because this is a problem, and you don't hear much about it at the federal level.
Representative Copeland.
Well, I'm generally against anything with the word illegal in front of it. And I think it's important to understand that we are a nation of immigrants. We celebrate immigration. People want to come to America because we're the greatest nation on earth. But there's a process for that. We need to seal the southern border, particularly, and I say the southern border because there is a difference. Those of us in North Dakota understand that the Canadian border is very different from the border to the south. So we need to seal it. We need to make sure that people who want to come here legally, and come here for the right reasons, and become part of our society, and become productive. That's what our forebears did, that's what many of our ancestors did, and that's the direction we need to go. I also believe that once people are here, we need to work with them in order to determine how we can better... Oh, my time, sorry. Okay, I'll get back.
And Commissioner Biddle.
Our immigration policy in this country is actually sort of upside down. We invite all sorts of foreign students into NDSU and UND and colleges and universities across the country. We educate them here, and then we don't get to keep them. We send them back to their own countries, even though they want to stay here and work. We've had example after example right here in North Dakota of that happening. I agree with the idea that we need to put a virtual fence across the southern border, but we also need to do it for another reason. That's for national security. And then we've got anywhere from 12 to 14 million. We're not sure because they're hidden. We're not sure where they are. We've got 12 to 14 million people that we have to deal with. You can't send 12 or 14 million people just back across the border, so we have to have some bright minds sit down and distinguish the different characteristics of these groups and figure out what our response will be. Some of them have been here quite a long time, and they've got kids and their families, and they're integrated in communities, and yet they're still not citizens because they're hiding. And that's a very complex issue, but one that is going to require some courage to undertake.
Representative Grundy.
I think first and foremost, we must secure the border. And after that, let's enforce the laws we have on the books. We have good laws on the books, let's enforce those. But along those lines, the visa and the work program situation needs to be looked at and cleared up. I've ran into that same issue where I've